It's great to have you with us. It's Discovery Week at the Woodstock Hospital.
Yes.
It's always a lot of fun because we have students in town from Western in the medical program, and they're just finishing up first year of medicine. And we've got two students here we want to introduce you to today. Joseph Russell and Fatima Kalik. Have I got that right?
Yep.
Thank you for having us.
It's great to have you guys here, and it's such bright faces here. And they've mentioned some nice things. You've enjoyed your time during Discovery Week here in the Friendly City.
Absolutely. This is undoubtedly the highlight of currently medical school, and we just finished the whole year that was packed full of learning, and we've loved it.
Very cool.
That's absolutely incredible. And you guys actually mentioned that yesterday, you guys chose to stay late by choice. No one forced you to.
Yes, we did.
It was a blast. Yeah, no, all the docs there have been delightful, and so we just wanted to kind of keep going back, and it was a blast. Yeah.
For post-secondary education, just so the listeners have an understanding, you have to do is it undergraduate studies where you have to get a 4-year degree before you can even enter into med school? So this is at least your 5th year of post-secondary education. And you've got a number of years before you even make a full decision on which stream you're going into. Fatima, I'm curious, from your standpoint, who have you been shadowing and what have you seen here in Woodstock that has really sort of got the juices flowing for you?
Yeah, so for me, I've seen family medicine. I got to see internal medicine and general surgery. I will say general surgery has piqued my interest quite a bit. It's been very interesting to see kind of the diversity of the cases that they see and how they can really mold their practice into what they want to see. And so a lot of the cases I got to see were GI, gastrointestinal, a lot to do with the stomach and the colon. And it was just a really great learning opportunity. They got me involved. I got to learn so much. And I got to see a lot of the technology that they use, the laparoscopes and the cameras. So that's been really interesting.
Excellent.
Very cool. How about you, Joseph?
It has been I've been particularly enjoying urology. So looking at the kidneys, the bladder, got to see some really amazing surgeries. They use really cool technology, lasers, advanced imaging, and all these really a lot of fun. I just was kind of shocked.
And something that's really great about this Discovery Week program is that it brings med students like you guys into these smaller kind of rural hospitals to see what it's like practicing here versus a big city area. And you guys, I know, Fatima, you said you're from Windsor, and Joseph, you're from Toronto. What is it like being in a place like Woodstock compared to those areas?
Honestly, I have been loving it. I've always kind of been considering kind of moving down in size in where I live. And it's nice to have a little bit of space, but also come to a place where people seem to be very collegial, know each other well. There's a very a nice camaraderie amongst everyone at the hospital that I've been at so far, and it's just been delightful.
And what about for you, Fatima?
I really love the tight-knit community, especially how the physicians can collaborate in a very unique way where they know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and they come together to be who would be the best person for this patient at this point. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes there are situations where they might give up their own patient to someone else being you are the better person for this. Mm-hmm. And I think you don't necessarily see that in some of the bigger centers because you don't get to build those connections.
Huh.
And so I think that's very unique, and I think it really does allow for better patient care at the end of the day.
Certainly sounds like it from somebody living in the community that's a great thing. Something you had mentioned to me too, Fatima, that you found interesting was you got to shadow a pathologist, I think.
Yes, we did yesterday. We all got to see an autopsy.
Oh.
Which was a first for most of us, I think. And it was just very unique in the sense that most of us just didn't know how it even happened, why someone would get an autopsy done. So seeing it from start to finish, all the steps involved, all the things that are put into consideration when trying to figure out why someone passed away was a very rewarding experience. And I think it was very humbling for all of us to see how medicine can be used in very different ways and ways that we hadn't even considered yet.
So this might be a silly question, but was it like what you see on TV when they do autopsies, or is it very different?
Pretty similar, I would say, in the sense the room. There were no windows. I feel that's very typical in the movies, but I think just the science behind it was something that TV shows don't encapsulate as well. The fine details that they're looking at, maybe just one small speck that most people wouldn't notice. And the pathologist was this might be a concern. that I need to look into a little deeper.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's very detail-oriented.
Yes.
8:13 Discovery Week happening at the Woodstock Hospital. We're speaking with Joseph Russell and Fatima Schulich about their experiences. Both of them go to University of Western Ontario. They also have a site in Windsor where how many are here in Woodstock for this week?
So currently we have 12 of our peers are here. We have about a good maybe 5 or 6 from Windsor, and the rest of us are from London. So,
have you got an idea, Joseph, of what I know you don't have to make this decision for a few years, but what area of medicine are you perhaps leaning toward?
At least right now, I am leaning very strongly towards a mix of both family medicine practice and emergency medicine practice. I think at the stage of my career will determine what I decide to focus on a bit more.
Of course, yeah.
But I love the idea of kind of being in a community and kind of serving them in a very generalist kind of practice and way.
When it comes to emergency room, you've kind of had some experience because you took a few years to work in emergency rooms. Is that right?
Yes, I have. So after finishing my undergrad, I was working as an assistant to the ER physicians for quite some time back in Toronto. And it really opened up my interest amazingly to medicine, and I kind of just loved it from there.
I imagine you've probably seen some very interesting things.
To say the least.
It's always, every day is different in an emergency room. And what about for you, Fatima? Have you made any thoughts on what area you might like to key on?
Unfortunately, everything's up in the air still for me, so I'm really taking Discovery Week to see everything that I possibly can to try to figure it out. And I hope the next 3 years allows me to delve further deep and try to make that decision.
Perfect.
And when it came to medicine for you, it was at a younger age because your mom was she had a stroke, I think you told me.
Yep.
And,
oh my goodness.
You witnessed, how the medical care came together for her at that time.
Yeah. So I was 7 years old when it happened, and I kind of followed her throughout that journey. I got to see the physicians, nurses, and everyone really come together, create her treatment plan, pivot when things change, and really help her get back to her feet.
Yeah.
And so it was really rewarding to see how you can be involved in that care and how you have that responsibility. And now that I'm in medical school and seeing kind of the science behind it, I appreciate it a lot more because sometimes you don't know what's going on and you have to think outside the box and you have to spend a lot of your own time trying to figure it out to make that difference in people's lives. And I hope I can do that one day too.
Wow. We always, thank the students that come in here for Discovery Week because it's very important for our personal health to have people like you wanting to get into this business. And it takes a lot of your life just to get to a point where you can actually practice medicine at an everyday level. It's a lot of money and it's a lot of time commitment to get there. So I want to thank you for that. Fatima, anything that we're missing about Discovery Week, maybe something that you've witnessed that you thought was really cool that we haven't talked about yet before we let you go?
No, honestly, I think we covered it all, but honestly, thank you to Woodstock Hospital and all the staff. They were super lovely. They went out of their way to accommodate us, to really have us involved. And I think this experience will be super pivotal for all of us moving forward in our careers.
And what about for you, Joseph? Anything we're missing? Anything cool that you want to make sure we mention?
You guys have an amazing community. You guys have an amazing healthcare system supporting you. I am very, very impressed with how you guys run it. I have to give a major thanks to all the people who invited us here. You guys have been welcoming. And, it's a wonderful place to practice, It's
excellent.
amazing.
And you know what? Hopefully you guys come back to this community once you're doctors.
That's definitely
hint,
not
hint,
out of
nudge, nudge.
Fatima Schulich, Joseph Russell, part of Discovery Week at Woodstock Hospital this week. Pleasure meeting the two of you, and thanks for coming in today.
Thank you
so
very
much
much for having us.
8:16.
All it takes